What up, what up? Welcome to today's episode of the TRG Agency Podcast. I'm here with one of my oldest friends in the business, Lephate Cunningham, manager of creator partnerships at the team. Lephate, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm really excited about this. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I am great. It is like the first 90-degree day of summer. I have not been outside, but yeah, I'm just excited to be here, get to talking. Yeah, let's do it.
And it's the first summer Friday that you mentioned. So you're gonna get to take a workout class and then go. The workout will be walking through 90-degree weather in New York City.
Honestly, I will do probably 10 minutes and just say the workout is already done. Let's go home.
And then you can get on with your weekend. And
Absolutely.
you know, for those listening, Lafayette and I first met each other. We're going to go through a little bit of his background at one of his previous agencies, but I want to sort of bring it back even further than then. You're from you went to NYU. You're living in New York now. When did you sort of identify the creator economy as an industry that you wanted to build in, and what was a little bit about your background for those that may not see all the success you're having now and wondering how you got to this position?
Oh gosh, I probably have like the wildest backstory from someone who like was so outside of this industry to come into this industry. So I actually have a degree in theater, and I went to undergrad in New Jersey, and then I was kind of like working in and out of theater in like different areas, and then the pandemic hit, and my industry was closed or closing, and at the same time, I was kind of getting the itch to do something else. And so once the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I think I want to like go into comms. I didn't know what that looked like. And so I made a pandemic decision. I applied to grad school at NYU, didn't tell anyone, kept it a complete secret from my family, friends, and I remember it was July 3rd, 2020 is when I got in, and I made everyone's jaw drop. And I was like, I want to do this. Like, I have nothing to do otherwise, and like, I feel like this happened at the right time, so like, this is a good time to start. And so while I was NYU for my master's program, I did it in PR, but I had a good curriculum in social media, and like at the same time, it's 2020, so like TikTok was like really taking off, and so like I was seeing it in my personal life, in like my educational life, and so I started to like really see from my own lens like the build of like influencer partnerships and like how they were, put into the media landscape. And so when I was in my last semester, I got a job at an off-Broadway theater. That was my, like, I guess not senior, second year internship. And my project, we had to do a project. I wanted to do like an influencer event. Like, I wanted to invite a bunch of creators to come see a show at this theater we were doing and just like talk about theater and like just talk about like events. And I specifically like brought in people who were like outside of the world of like traditional entertainment, just so I can like see if we can like reach theater to new audiences. And this was like back in 2022, so like theater wasn't like fully back yet. It was like a little bit back. And so I went to an agency after I graduated, and I stayed in like the entertainment, like live entertainment business, doing social media. But I still had that itch of like I still had that flashback of me like in 2020, like scrolling through Instagram and like thinking about like influencer partnerships starting to like grow. And at this point, like in 2022, they were like kind of at a larger scale. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. Like, I feel like I'm missing out. And I had a lot of friends who were in influencer marketing who were like, living the time of their lives, like working with these great people, going to great places, working with some great brands. And I really had FOMO. So I went to a different agency, which is where we met. And I felt like I started from scratch. I was, wasn't really like looking to make, I guess, like a lateral move, but I just wanted to learn. I was so eager to learn, and I really did. And I like, it was the first time I worked in a like different industry that wasn't entertainment. Like, I was working with like fashion and like CPG and like other retail clients, and I would thought it was just awesome. And I realized that by stepping outside of my box, like you can see other industries that like are also trying to step outside of the box. And like I learned that there were just like, I mean, there are rules in terms of like how to cast and like how to fill like spots, but I really felt like I was doing something that was just so big and brand new and just like full of life. And I loved it. And it came to a point where like I would think I was ready for just some bigger challenges right away. And so I moved to a different agency, which is where I am right now. I've been at the team for a little over 2 years, and it's been the best time of my life. I've worked with, you know, some really big clients, some really big projects, some really great creators, even celebrities, which I like was so over my head. I thought I would never have that opportunity. But yeah, I feel like I'm such a creative mind, and like we are able to be, you know, creative thinkers in these positions we're in. So yeah, I'm having the time of my life. You know, it took a while, but I finally got to where I'm supposed to be.
So, um, you mentioned that we met at your previous agency,
Hmm.
and that's quite a COVID assignment. Most people, like binged a TV show. You decided to apply and enroll in grad school and get through that. So kudos to you there.
Thank
And
you.
that's something that I think always, when we had conversations, you always struck me as someone that had a very entrepreneurial mind. You're very problem solving oriented, very creative. And
Thank you.
so when you were at your previous agency, I know you had a little bit more um, sort of variety in the work you were doing just by the nature of it being a smaller team. Something
Definitely.
we've been chatting about with your new role at the team
Hmm.
is it's a much larger company.
Yeah.
So, how have you sort of balanced that entrepreneurial side of you that can solve and wants to solve every problem with also understanding now, hey, there's so many more resources at my disposal. I don't
Mhm.
have to actually be just okay at everything. I
Right.
can be great at one thing, and the overall product is going to be better in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest difference between companies is like I felt like, you know, I'm a very independent person by nature, and like, yeah, I am like also a problem solver. Like I just like want to get things done, like, and I'm a little bit of a control freak. Like I just want to get things done the way I like see they should be done. But, you know, being coming to my company that I am right now, I learned that like because we have like the resources and the scale of where we're at, like we have such an incredible team. Like I work with such great people every single day who are just excited to come to work and excited to do the work, excited to connect with clients and creators, that like I feel like we all have a common goal, and I'm able to like let go a little bit of like the control freak in me and just lean on other people. We all have a common goal, whether it's, you know, like I'm going to get on the phone today, you're going to get on the phone tomorrow, and then we'll talk about it later. Like there's no like there's no sense of hierarchy, at least in my company. Like everyone is like on their hands and knees like getting the work done, and that's what I love about being at the team. But yeah, the biggest thing is like I don't have to do it by myself anymore. Like I really can like build on other people. And sometimes like and most of the time we don't have a choice. Like the work is sometimes can be a lot, but like it's like trauma bonding is not the right word. But it's like we all have the same goal, so like we're all gonna figure out it out together. And you know, at the end of the day, it's like it's never that serious. It really is never that serious. I have to keep reminding myself, and like that's part of the control freak in me. Like I always thought it was that serious, but like you learn from other people, you make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, and then at the end of the day, like you're all working towards the same thing. No one's like against each other when you're all under the same house.
Yeah, I'm sure in other industries the term trauma bonding is used, but I feel like it has record setting impact in the creator economy, where
Totally.
all the time everyone has horror stories of campaigns they've worked on, or creators, or managers, or brands. So, yeah, you're not the first person, and I would be willing to bet a lot of money you will not be the last person that uses
Oh,
that term on this
for
podcast.
sure. And you have to laugh about it, you know? Like, yeah, things can get serious, but like the next day I'm laughing about it. Like, I can't believe that happened. It ends up being a funny story. And then, like, years down the line, you forget it even happened.
No, 100%. And part of what I wanted us to talk about with you hopping on is
Hmm.
in your role in creator partnerships, it's your job to sort of manage the projects. And you're talking to your team, the account management team, you're talking to the agents, who's talking to the managers. So you have an element of partnerships where you have to sort of wear different hats and sort of understand that different people have different motives. So what I'm curious about is how have you, is there a person, is there a role you were at previously? It could be even as far back as childhood, the way your sort of parents taught you about how to treat people. How did you come to sort of, develop your philosophy around partnerships?
Yeah, I think honestly, I've seen it done in so many different ways that like my like feeling about it now is probably different than it was even a year ago. But I feel like now, like again, like from my company, my last company, like, and yeah, also through my childhood, like, partnerships literally mean like the definition is like two or more parties coming together and like they're literally working together. And so what I think about partnerships now is like, okay, it's not just about like you're gonna do this thing for me. No, we're doing this thing together. Like we started it together, we're gonna finish it together. And so in some of the work I do, I've really, and a lot of brands are doing this now, and I think it's awesome, are giving creators and other partners and like partners like us even a seat at the table to like talk with each other, figure out a solution. Again, this really goes back to like having the same goal, but like at a larger scale. Like, let's bring something to the table because like you might have a perspective that like I am not seeing, and like vice versa. And so I really love when, especially from the creator's perspective, like we're getting on the call with them, we're asking them for feedback, like how is this going for you? Like I know technically like we're paying you money, we're paying your team money, but like how is this going for you? Like how can we make this better so we can get to, where we need to be? Because like we want to find a solution, you want to find a solution, you are our partner in this. And like partner doesn't end when the campaign ends. I think partnerships like continue. It's like even you and I, we were talking about a few weeks ago when I come to LA, we're like, we're going to link up because that's what you do with your partners, and not even to like get something out of it. It's just to like have a conversation. And if something comes from it, that's great. But it's like at the end of the day, we live in such a digital world now, but like at the end of the day, like what's the most important thing? It's like the human connection. It's that face to face of like, I care for you, you care for me, we're in business, but we still care for each other.
Well, and it's such a common thread on this podcast when people have conversations around the best ways to build partnerships, the best way to really maintain partnerships.
Yeah.
Is this does feel, I have commonly referred to, especially in the early days of the creator economy, it has elements of the Tinder of marketing where people are just sort of swiping by each other and no one's actually interacting. It's like, you do this campaign, I'll pay you, I'll see you later, have a good day. And when you talk to agents or agencies or individuals at those entities, when you say to them, where have your best partnerships come from? It's exactly what you're saying. Hey, yes, we're doing work together. Yes, there are quick turn campaigns. Yes, there are certain emails that require an element of shorthand.
Yeah.
But more often than not, once you ask someone, hey, what do you like to do outside of work?
Totally.
What makes you as a person? Not just you're an email, you're a figure, you're a clause in an agreement that we need to yell about. It makes total sense in all of our dealings. I've always found you to be someone that actually is interested in the other person, not just can you send me a roster and maybe I'll reach out to you at a certain point.
Absolutely. And sometimes, like we all live by deadlines, right? And like I think deadlines is like a big part of why things sometimes get contentious. But like if someone misses a deadline and someone I'm working with, whether it's like an agent or a creator, like sometimes it's just nice to hop on the phone and say like, is everything okay? Like, what can I do for you so we can like figure something out? Because like, I want to help you. And like, I know at the end of the day, you want to help me, because at the end of this, like we are partners and we will be for the rest of time.
You and I have been in this business for a while now. We've been friends for a couple of years, and hopefully we'll get to do this for a couple of years more. I'm curious, what are some areas that you may be talking about internally when you're having friends or conversations with friends in the creator economy? What are some areas when you guys think forward, let's say the next half decade, what are some areas where you're excited about, and where do you sort of predict this market to go?
Yeah, I think that is a great question. And I think it kind of builds off of this idea of partnerships and like giving, creators and partners this concept of like an open brief. And I know that term has been like, thrown around like recently and it's like meant different things, but it's like, no, like there is on black and white, like this is what the message we want to give, but like whatever way you feel like that can get across in your way is great. Like if it's like, a 50-page brief where it's like so like specific, like, just historically and like statistically what I've seen is like that doesn't always work out to be, the best case scenario. I feel like the more bare bones it is, the better, because like we really want someone to come through in their own way. And so I think that also goes back to like giving creators a seat at the table, where it's like if they do have an idea for something, like let's bring them into the meetings. Let's give them like a seat at the table where we're like planning our next, marketing for the next quarter or whatever. Like maybe they have an idea. And so like I actually have seen this more often where brands are getting their leadership on like calls with creators and like asking for feedback, which I think is awesome, because like at the end of the day, like we want them to be supported in the same way they support us. And so I really think like we need to like I'm excited to see, and I'm already starting to see more layers being peeled back, more, discussions between parties where we're all thinking the same thing and people have different expertises. And that's a big part of like diversity in the creator economy even, and like why it's so important, because like even though like it's great to have a diverse team internally, externally, like why not have another pair of eyes to like make sure something is correct or it's executed the way it should be. And so yeah, I really am like I'm excited for more people to like basically come in, literally like join hands, whether it's like in a circle, on a chat, like on an offsite, whatever. Like let's just all get in the room and talk with each other, so we're not dictating anyone like what they should be doing.
It's such a great point, and it does feel to some degree that it's a generational shift happening,
Yeah.
whereas people are coming into positions of leadership that are a little bit more collaborative.
Hmm.
You're seeing those elements of it was how you described earlier in terms of everyone's on their hands and knees scrubbing the floors. No one's sort of overlooking the other person. There is no
Definitely.
real hierarchy, and it feels like the more we can make this economy sort of flat in the sense of everyone has a voice,
Yep.
the better off we'll be. And yeah, just a great, great answer. Again, can't thank you enough for your time. Before we let you go, we are going to run through some rapid fire.
I
As a
love it.
reminder, rapid meaning rapid. There are no right answers, just first thing that comes to mind.
Great.
And again, can't thank you enough. So for rapid fire, favorite part about your job?
Ooh, meeting new people.
Most important piece of advice you learned early in your career that helps you today?
It's PR, not the ER.
That's a great one. Wow, I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
Favorite campaign you've worked on recently?
Ooh, it's not recent, but I worked with cats a little bit ago, like a cat campaign, and like we just let cats run wild, and that was so cool. You can't give a cat a brief, so it's like let's just get them on film and something will happen, and it was awesome.
That is the most creator marketing line in our creator marketing podcast that I've ever heard. Favorite collaboration you saw recently that you were not a part of, but you wished you were a part of?
Oh, okay, so the person who works at Staples who tells you like what you can get at Staples, I think they did something with PF Chang's, and I was like, like it's just so cool, like because they were like blowing up just talking about their job at Staples, and I'm like, it's just so cool to like just be culturally relevant and then like have a job the next day because someone's looking at you. Like, oh, sometimes I wish I could do that. That was so cool.
Okay. Well, next time there's a pandemic, instead of going to grad school, you should just become a Staples employee and then become
I
famous and get free PF Chang's.
100%. Who knew? That's all I had to do was wear a red vest.
Okay, three more for you here. Thank you so much again. Favorite restaurant in New York?
Elio's on the Upper East Side.
Dream concert?
Okay, so I like seeing concerts out of the country. It's cheaper. I would love to see Jay-Z and Beyonce when they do On the Run 3.
That's that's a great one. And that leads into our final question. Where would you want to see Jay-Z and Beyonce? Dream vacation destination.
That is tough. I think unlikely, but I would love to see them just like somewhere in the south of France. I don't know if people like tour in the south of France, but like I'd love to see a concert there.
Okay. This was fun. I cannot thank you enough. Please, for everyone that is super excited to follow along with you, where can everyone follow along with all the incredible work that you and your team are doing?
Yeah, so my username on all platforms, I did this when I was in high school, is just my first name, Lephate. Even my LinkedIn, linkedin.com/Lephate. Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. I am talking and working with the team and like promoting things as much as I can. And so feel free to follow along to see what we're up to.
Well, Faye, you are the absolute best. Thank you so much on your first summer Friday for taking the time to chat. Enjoy the 90-degree weather in New York, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks so much, Josh. This is awesome.